Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma. That's right, the good old Kholodny Ferma. It's not the winner one, obviously, as you can tell without, all the white. But it's still Kholodny Ferma regardless. Anyways, our heroes today are going to be Camila, playing for the Soviets. And his opponent is going to be none other than HelpingHans, playing for the Germans. Now we see that off the bat, HelpingHans has selected his Doctrine, and that is the Osttruppen Doctrine. And Camila has as well gone for his own Doctrine, and that is the Guard Rifle. Guard Rifle Combined Arms Tactics, that is to say. So, yeah, both players having a strategy in mind. Now, I'm not going to talk about the ranks right now, because as you probably know, the ladder is a little bit broken, but both players are very good. I mean, HelpingHans you probably already know. Pretty amazing player, and Camila, maybe a little bit less, but still a very, very good player. Now, while this goes on, and we see Osttruppen moving around the center to capture, we hear a small engagement up in the north. Osttruppen capturing that munitions point, fighting against conscripts. Let's talk about these little things. We saw them on the 4v4 that we last casted, but we never really went into it. So now you can actually see the bulletins that got selected for each player. So we see that Camila, Soviet player, has basically all for conscripts. So he has 5% faster between shots, so reducing the cooldown by 5% for conscripts. Then reload reduced by 3%, and the training, which is 3% increased accuracy. So they shoot faster, they reload faster, and they're more accurate. So buffing his conscripts a little bit, so we'll probably see a lot of conscripts. And, well, we can see that he's already going for 4 conscripts. So that's nice. Then we also have HelpingHans, and he selected MG42s, apparently. He goes, MG42 has 4% increased rate of fire. It has 3% increased accuracy, and reloads 10% faster. So, nice. And we do see him using 2 MG42s already. One down here, and the other one's just coming out onto the field right now. So engagements up in the north. Conscripts engage against the Pios, and also getting a little bit of a flank on those Osttruppen. So the Osttruppen, once again, I mean, they're not really good at combat, so they're not going to be able to hold the line much. So that's why HelpingHans goes for his tier 1 regardless, and is getting MG42s. He does have one back at his base, not sending it out into the field just yet, so I'm not entirely sure what he's waiting for. And we will be able to see a little bit of banter, if there is any, I don't particularly know, but with the recent patch, the latest patch, in-game chat is now available and comes up during the replays, so it's nice. Center, we have a nice flank here by Camila on that MG42, Molotov landing on top of it, forcing a retreat down to 2 men. The Osttruppen trying as much as they can to hold the line, but they're not really going to be able to. Down to 5 men, they probably need to retreat. There are 2 conscript squads in the way. Molotov landing on the Osttruppen squad is going to burn to death. Down to 2 men, forces the retreat. I don't think it's going to make it out of there. Down south, we have the MG42 trying to stop that conscript from moving. Down to 1 man on this squad, barely manages to make it out of there. Nice retreat. But the conscripts for Camila are now taking possession of the north. Down south, Osttruppen are trying to capture. Excuse me. We have a combat engineer jumping a fence over here, going behind the lines just to capture territory, doing a nice job about it. And jumping this fence avoids it going through this little choke point, so very nice. MG42 still in the center. We have another engagement over here. Osttruppen against conscripts. Nice dodge there by the Osttruppen against that Molotov, but they are Osttruppen, so they need to be rather careful. And we have a conscript squad popping into this house right in front of HelpingHans' base. Moves up his MG42, followed up by Pios. Second MG42 over here turns around to catch those conscripts as they jump out of the house. However, the other conscript squad is now moving in for the flank on that MG42. MG42 packs up and moves out of the way. It's going to have to get the hell out of there into the range of fire of the other MG42 since the combat engineers are there. But no, HelpingHans decides to retreat. It's a little bit too surrounded there, so nice push here by Camila. He is getting significant advantage on the map right now. And this engagement is going rather well. Conscripts in the house jump out. They're now getting shot at by Pios at close range, but the Pios are now getting flanked, forcing the retreat. And that's a lot of conscripts. So 5 conscript squads on the field. That is it. Tier 2 gone down for HelpingHans. What is he going to get from that? He's going to get himself a half-track. Half-track should be hitting the field right now. And he also gets himself the training officer, not training officer, artillery field officer, which, as we've mentioned before, is essentially a Grenadier squad. A little bit less powerful because of the officer, but the men in there are Grenadiers. Medics getting research for Camila. We see these conscript squads moving down south to get a little bit of a flank on these two squads. But there is an Osttruppen squad in the way, but the conscripts will do very quick work of it. But the half-track is now on the field for Helping Hands. If he has the munitions, he'll probably be getting the flamethrower upgrade very quickly. And that should give him an edge here. Conscript squad retreating down to 3 men. The half-track moving right on top of them. Can he actually make it out of there alive? I think he is going to make it out, yeah. Yeah, they're fine. Conscripts can now use evasive tactics. What is that? Hit the dirt? Yeah, probably hit the dirt considering the two points. Okay.
Squad replenished. The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
So Helping Hands, taking this little downtime here to start reconnecting positions. We do have conscript squad down south capturing that munitions. We have an Osttruppen that went for the fuel, and combat engineers running into them. The Osttruppen will jump into the house to try to get the edge there. Also remember that the cover garrisons got changed, so the Osttruppen might be a little bit better in the houses now. We'll see how much of an impact it makes, but well. Half-track now finally with its flamethrower upgrade goes straight down south to those conscripts. Conscripts getting burned, none of them actually dying. Half-track moves up again, throws another burst. And one of them catches fire, but does not actually take any damage. Conscripts Ura forward, trying to get on top of that half-track, but they managed to dodge that, and they are staying alive quite nicely at 6 men. So they're going to retreat and make it out of there at full strength. Center map, still a lot of things on the field for Helping Hands. He did get himself a Panzer Grenadier squad, which will finally allow him to make offensive pushes with his units. Those Osttruppen are just a little more than bodies in the way, making it difficult to move, but not being able to assault. Combat engineers forced away by the half-track. The Osttruppen pop out of the house since they are emboldened, but they can get a little bit closer to the half-track, start capping, and also reinforce. Conscripts moving down to the cutoff point here. And the MG42 getting caught in the open by the conscripts. The flamethrower goes off on the conscripts themselves. The MG42 would be able to get in range, but the half-track does take a nasty 18-8, getting its engine, and we have tier 2 down for Camila. Camila gets himself a guard squad rifle, and the MU-42 goes down to a Molotov. The Osttruppen running back, trying to get in range of the reinforced. They do manage to do that. 18-8, second one goes off on the half-track. Half-track now down to about 30% health, and the guard rifles are moving in its direction, so that half-track will go down. Guard rifles will probably just pop into the house and shoot from there. Osttruppen getting burnt alive by the Molotovs, but reinforcing on the fly very quickly. Conscripts forced to retreat. Osttruppen moving around, and the guard rifles pop into the house. PTRS rifles going off on that half-track. They could do with popping out of the house now. PTRS rifles shots go off. Flamethrowers go off in the house, but one last shot goes, and down goes the half-track. So Helping Hands losing his mainstay on the field. He also lost both of his MG42s, manages to pick one up with his Osttruppen squad. Second one got lost somewhere, and we have a weapon. That's a stolen MG42, so that's not even a Maxim. So, yeah, the other one went down, and Camila took it. Very nice. Conscripts Ura forward to get into the church. The artillery field officer retreating on the field. And the MG42 that got picked up by the Osttruppen, trying to cover down south into that fuel point. Massive push out of the base for Camila. Guard rifles, however, did not get reinforced, and they noticed that, so they run back to get some help. And heals. And all the infantry for Camila is pushing down south. He did lose a conscript squad at some point. He did have 5, he's only down 4 now. But he did inflict massive amounts of damage. Another half-track out on the field for Helping Hands. No flamethrowers just yet. We'll see if he actually goes for that. The MG42 down south is opening up on whatever it can. Keep in mind that this MG42 will actually die very quickly, ridiculously quickly, because it's manned by Osttruppen. And the Osttruppen are weak per unit, and then an MG42 weapon team takes additional damage. 25% additional damage than normal squads, so yeah, dies very, very quickly. You need to be very careful with those. Conscripts in the center, supported by more conscripts, and now with PPS Aegis. PPS Aegis should now actually give 3 PPS Aegis to the conscript squads. You can see there, 1, 2, and 3. So it makes them a lot more effective in the close range. Obviously reduces their effectiveness at range, but, well, conscripts were never too good at range to begin with. I mean, they're better than at close range by default, but, you know, they're not amazing, like, say, grenadiers per shot. Conscripts switch forward, Molotov into the house, artillery field officer pops out, and the conscripts continue to move around. Small engagement down south, conscripts engaging against the Osttruppen. The Osttruppen managed to force them to back off a little bit, but they get themselves into heavy cover, so they'll win that fight. However, half-track on the field will move in and support those Osttruppen, reinforcing them on the fly and providing additional fire support. Guard rifles, however, moving down south to engage that half-track, will take some shots from the PTRS rifles, but they will not die. I mean, the half-track will not die. There you go. Conscripts, however, push forward. Can they get in range for a 18A? No, they don't. Osttruppen need to get themselves out of there. And the conscripts and guard continue to push. More Osttruppen moving in to try to stop them. But the PTRS rifles continue to fly, doing quite a bit of damage. Up in the north, Pio squad moving behind enemy lines, rams into a conscript squad and has to retreat. And right now, Camila has HelpingHans essentially cut off from his base for all territory. He only has this sector giving him resources. This one is essentially the cutoff point. It's a little bit more difficult to harass than, say, this point, which is very popular because it's wide in the open, but it's still the same effect. Finally, HelpingHans manages to break this point and pushes forward with a lot of troops, trying to reconnect the point. The half-track moves out of the way and is going to get some help. AT gun, pack gun on the field for HelpingHans, trying to anticipate some type of vehicle play, and we do have tier 3 down for Camila. We'll see what he gets from that. T-34, probably the obvious choice. And the guards are forced to retreat in the face of Osttruppen, which are very deadly. Conscripts running down the MG42. The MG42 running away through a very difficult path. PPS Aegis managed to take it out, and there are Osttruppen in the way, but there's 3 conscript squads right in front of it, so that MG42 is not going to get picked up. It is going to get picked up, but it's going to die. Yep, even a Molotov landing on top of it. Nice bait there for Camila. He was waiting for that. Osttruppen getting gone down out in the open. Conscripts now down to 1 man. Forced to retreat on that one. Also retreats on the 6-man squad. Might have been a little bit of a mistake. And a T-70 is actually what gets produced here by Camila. Very bold. At this point, I mean, he is confident that he is not going to be facing any tanks, considering the fuel cutoff that he's done, or, you know, denying fuel for HelpingHans for a long time. So he goes for the T-70, which will deal with all these infantry very effectively. Panzer Grenadiers on the field doing some damage. T-70 moves up, starts taking some shots at the Osttruppen, at the Panzer Grenadiers, at the MG42 that just got picked up. And the half-track is also a prime target for that T-70. Osttruppen, however, are nearby. Can they get in range for Faust? No. The T-70 backs off, and it's just going to stay on the field. More T-70s getting produced for Camila. Sending all his troops down. He's going to go capture that fuel point instead of trying to cut it off. Although the guard rifles do stop out in the open. And the T-70 moves down. Center map. The half-track is almost back to full strength. The Pios are trying to repair it, but they move along. MG42 opening up on the half-track, doing quite a bit of damage to its outer hull. And denying any movement around here for infantry. Down south, the guard rifles, combat engineers just capturing territory, denying all territory for HelpingHans. HelpingHans still not able to build any additional tech, and not able to produce any heavier vehicles. And we now have two T-70s on the field for Camila. Camila sending it both to either edge, positioning himself for quite a bit of a flank here. Artillery field officer getting engaged by the T-70. This is a bad spot for that field officer because Even though, yeah, those are essentially grants, he doesn't have the Faust ability. The Osttruppen do have the Faust ability, however. More pack guns getting produced for Helping Hands, trying to stop those tanks. And we have T-70 up in the north. Half-track and everything moving down south to try to engage. T-70 moving in to help out on this flank attack. And the other T-70 is heading straight into the base, running against those Osttruppen, getting Fausted, and trying to take down the artillery field officer. The flank in the center, we see the pack gun taking some shots at that T-70. The T-70 manages to dodge the second shot. It's now going straight at that half-track. The half-track is going to take some damage here, although the Pios are apparently the bigger target, or the ones being targeted. Pack gun turns around. T-70 moves out of its arc of fire very nicely. And I don't know what the hell that was. That was a glitch there. And the T-70 over here is just harassing those Osttruppen, which just keep getting reinforced. Pack gun comes onto the field, stops at the very edge of the map, takes a shot at that T-70, and down it goes. Second T-70 still on the field, goes for the flank on the pack gun. The pack gun going to get decrewed, although can't get reinforced. No, it does get decrewed. Half-track is going to be taken down by this T-70. The second pack gun is now moving desperately into range to try to fend off, but the T-70 will take out the half-track, and the conscripts are still there. The T-70 stays in the front, backs off, and the pack gun sets up and is actually not in range, so needs to keep on moving, and it does. Pushes forward. Pack gun gets stolen here by Camila, and he moves it back. T-34 now in the field for Camila, trying to seal the deal there with a bit of a heavier tank, even though it's just a medium tank. Conscripts with their PPS Aegis just doing incredible amounts of damage to those Osttruppen. And then down south we have combat engineers just capturing territory. Guard rifles being used to cap. Conscripts being used to fight. They managed to crawl into the house. They got pinned, but the game allows them to pop into the house since they made it to the door. And they will be able to break that pin and open up on those Osttruppen. However, there is only 2 windows in that. Actually, no, 3. Pack gun opening up on the house, but well, Helping Hands is now essentially pinned into his own base. We see the guard rifles here, and be game from Camila. Okay. And demolition charges getting laid down by Camila as well. So we see Helping Hands pushing out into the center with a lot of his troops. Not everything, but most of what he has. Just peppering the house with the AT gun, trying to clear it off. Manages to capture the territory to regain control a little bit. Pops his artillery field officer into the house. And the conscript right in front of it will throw a Molotov at it. Artillery field officer dodges that. And the conscripts are forced to vault over the wall and retreat. MG42 getting gunned down by the stolen MG42. This MG42 does have 6 men in it, which makes it very difficult. And more Osttruppen and pack guns moving out, but more conscripts are coming in to reinforce the lines. We also have a T-34 right outside the edge of the base. Not actually doing anything. Looks like he might be waiting for an opportunity to go in for the kill. We see a massive retreat here by Helping Hands and all his troops. And the T-70 moves up a little bit and is going to start shooting at... looks like the Tier 1 base. Backs off a little bit. Doesn't want to get shot at. And where's the T-70? Did it die? No, it's actually somewhere around here. There it is, down south. Also being used to cap. Guard rifles retreating. Another T-34 getting produced for Camila. So yeah, he pretty much has this one in the bag. 2 Osttruppen and artillery field officer is the only things that can fight here for Helping Hands. His pack gun, well, really can't kill infantry. So we see Helping Hands changing approach and going up to the north. He's going to try to recapture territory up there. But we also see now Camila just shifting his troops in that direction already. Anticipating movement in that side, considering that he has things just looking out every exit. MG42 covering the approach. So yeah. Conscripts getting caught by the MG42 here, getting suppressed. Molotov landing on top of the Pios. The Pios are going to be forced to move, and there they go. But not much else getting sent to the north by Camila, so that will allow Helping Hands to regain control of some territory. Not a lot, but at least some. the T-34 down south, and the second one is actually not even here. Huh. So Camila actually canceled his T-34 that was being produced, and is waiting for something else. Tier 3 is down for Helping Hands, but he does not have enough fuel just yet to be able to produce something like a Panzer IV. And even then, a Panzer IV would be very difficult to, you know, utilize, considering that there are T-34s and stolen pack guns that it has to deal with. Up in the north, Osttruppen continue to capture points, now down to less than 200 for Helping Hands, while Camila is sitting comfortably at 456. So he has managed to dominate that for the most part. I think the loss of the half-track early on for Helping Hands is what really hurt him. T-34 down south moves up and takes some shots at that Tier 1 building, trying to deny Hands the ability to build more of those. And it looks like he's going to use his Pios to try to repair it. He doesn't want to simply let it die. Did do a significant amount of damage with that pack gun to the T-34. The T-34 backs off all the way back to his base, probably. But we now have T-70. Another T-70 was being produced, but once again, Camila cancels it. And it looks like he's instead... No, that's just a... Oh, okay. Instead, he's going to utilize his resources to build a howitzer. And maybe try to finish the game here. A nicely placed artillery shot into the base while everything retreats, like hitting right here. That's going to do incredible amounts of damage. So the Pios taking quite a lot longer to actually repair the building than it takes to build it. But well, I guess that's to be expected. Up north, Panzer Grenadiers do have a Shrek. I mean, a Panzer Shreks. 2 of them, in fact. Not sure why I said a Shrek. They have to, always. And the artillery gun just firing into the base, hitting everything that it can. Here comes the shots. Ah, super. Boom! Nice shot there on that Osttruppen, almost kills it out. Shots landing in the bunker. Oh, killing the medics. And we finally have a Panzer IV here for Helping Hands, but I don't think that's going to be enough. He's down at less than 100 points, still triple capped. Shots continue to fly into his base. Those Osttruppen continue to get ravished. And I think that's going to be it for now. Panzer IV moves up, start taking some shots at those conscripts in the house, trying to dislodge them. Artillery field officer also being used. Shreks, mortar on the field for Helping Hands. G42. We also have a mortar. Oh my god. That IL-2 strafe run destroys that artillery field officer. Panzer IV moves up, start taking some shots from the pack gun. Pack gun damages it quite significantly, down to about half health, backs off all the way. The IL-2 did get toned down, but let's see how good it is now. Comes in for another pass. That doesn't really do much damage to the tank now. More it looks like it's for against infantry. Precision strike on top of his on the enemy mortar. So Camila just throwing here in good game, well played by Helping Hands, and he throws it. Well, yeah, very nice, albeit a short game. But yeah, I think it was essentially in the early game when Helping Hands lost his half-track over here. I think that was the tipping point. He needed to keep that half-track on the field to be able to keep the momentum in his way. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.